Have you ever wanted your own TV show? Have you dreamed of showcasing your talent for the world to see? Well, now you can. Have your own TV show. You can have your own 30-minute show. Not only will you be seen in the Detroit area, but you can be viewed worldwide. Be seen on WHPR Detroit Live, Comcast Cable Channel 91, on the web at TV33WHPR.com, with the TV33 app, on Roku, Google TV, Apple TV, and on Amazon Fire TV. Act now. Time slots are limited. Sign up today and get a free replay with the purchase of your time slot. For more information, call 313-868-6612. Visit our studios and receive a free TV interview to promote your business, church, or organization by appointment only.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad is his messenger and exalted Christ. I welcome you and I greet you to another episode of Self-Improvement Ministries on TV 33 WHPR. And I greet you all with the greeting words of peace, which we say in the Arabic language, Assalamu alaikum, which means peace be unto you. It's actually a prayer, a Muslim asking that peace be upon the person who he or she gives such a greeting. So I'm wishing you peace. And, you know, in this world, don't we need peace? You know, going through the things that we go through on a daily basis, facing the struggles that we face on a daily basis, facing the hardships that we face on a daily basis, especially in the community of Detroit, Highland Park, the surrounding area. We see it all the time. So I wish you peace. Assalamu alaikum, and I thank you for tuning in again this week. I also want to thank the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for allowing me to be his national, or rather his state representative and his Detroit representative. I thank TV 33, R.J. Watkins, for allowing me to come on these airs and to share just a few brief words with those who are watching. I watched, as many of you watched, the verdict being read concerning the police killing of George Floyd. And I was relieved, like many, to see that the police officer was found guilty on all 3 counts. I was happy to see justice served in this case. However, I understand that this is one case. This does not clear the table concerning what happened to Tamir Rice. It doesn't clear the table from what happened to Mike Brown. It doesn't clear the table from what happened to Breonna Taylor or to Eric Garner. It doesn't clear the table of what happened with our brother Trayvon Martin. You see, I cannot stick a 9-inch knife in your back, pull it out halfway, and expect the victim to be thankful. Expect my victim to be appreciative. But this is truly what we are witnessing in this world today. See, justice can only be complete when all of our lost lives are avenged. Justice can only be complete when we don't have to tense up when the police pull us over, or the police pull someone who looks like us over. Justice can only be declared when you don't have to worry about your children leaving the house and then you're worrying if they're ever going to come back, if you ever see them again. Justice can only be achieved after this current world, fueled by white supremacy, is wiped out completely. That's the only justice that's on the board for us, brothers and sisters. You know, it's good to have or see a victory. It's good to see justice served in this case. But when you think about the condition of our people here in America and everything that our people have gone through, we can't just get excited over one moment of justice. the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who I'm blessed to represent to you. He once said, if it were not for the fact that this world is a world of injustice, there would be no need for the prophets to tell us of a righteous judge that would come to judge a world that has deprived the people of justice. Wow, that makes all the sense in the world. You read a Bible, and sometimes you go to church on Sunday and you hear messages about prophets who come to a world that is unjust, and they teach us about a just judge, God, coming to judge the wicked world. See, if we're studying our scripture, if we're reading our scripture of both Bible and Holy Quran, because Prophet Muhammad brought a message that told the same thing. It detailed prophets coming into the world, trying to get the people of the world to move out of the way of injustice and line up with justice. So we have books that have documented the words of God coming to the people, trying to direct the people towards a road of justice. So if we've been reading our scriptures, if we've been studying our scriptures, then we wouldn't have a need for the court to determine the police officer guilty. For the scriptures, as articulated real well by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, lets us clearly know that this entire world has been found guilty. See, you rejoicing over one guilty verdict, but this entire world has been found guilty by God, by Allah. Because we're living in a world that is fallen away from him. And America is likened by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad as a modern day Babylon. It, America, has been weighed in the balance, it says, and found wanting. So I'm not giving a word today geeked up about a guilty verdict. I'm not giving a word today thinking that America turned some type of racial equality corner. I'm here to say to America that your deposit has been rejected by Allah. Your deposit has been rejected by God. I'm here today to say to America that you are in the last round of a championship fight and your arms are too short to box with God. I'm here to remind us of the book written by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad titled The Fall of America. See, when he wrote the book, no one could imagine that this mighty country would be taking a fall. But if you look around you right now, you see COVID-19, you see fighting in the White House, fighting amongst Congress, fighting amongst Democrats and Republicans, fighting amongst the races. Businesses closing down. The fall is taking place right before your eyes. In an excerpt titled The Destruction and Fall, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad writes the following words, and I want you to listen to these words. He says, the destruction and fall of the world that we have known is now without a doubt in process. When we refer to the world, we are referring to the world of the white man. For the world of the black man has yet to come. See, you're not running anything, brothers and sisters. You claim your blocks and you claim your colors and all these types of things, but you're not running anything. This is somebody else's world, and we're coming up in it. The world of the black man, he says, by divine guidance is now merging in on the old world of the white race. This makes the destruction and fall of the world of the white man imminent. Here in America, he says, we can see nothing but the fall of America. It is no secret. It is obvious to the eyes that are open. If we want to close our eyes and minds and claim that we do not see and understand, then we will be falling ourselves. And that's what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has been trying to give us a message for, so that we can prevent our fall with the fall of America. See, if we combine this guidance with the teachings we extract from our holy books, we can clearly see that the world we are currently in is destined to fall. Because that world doesn't line up with the scriptures that we read. See, you can't go to church and claim, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, but you stuck to this kingdom. You can't talk about a new heaven and a new earth, but you engraved and tied into the old world, the old way, and don't want to let it go. So I'm happy today because we can say that we understand these teachings and that we're trying to line ourselves up with these teachings. And that if we line ourselves up with these teachings, we'll go up. I give myself as an example. When I found these teachings, I was in a prison cell, 25 years on my back. I had nothing to show for the life that I had lived. But after accepting these teachings and applying these teachings, I'm now a free man. You know, I'm a man. I've been married 22 years. I have 4 children, all of them in college. You know, everybody's doing good. See, following this world, I went the opposite. I went down. But once I was exposed to a greater teaching, it took me up. We are living in a world, brothers and sisters, that has fallen away from Him, fallen away from Allah, fallen away from God, fallen away from Jehovah, whatever you call Him. And America is likened as a modern day Babylon that is found wanting. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan once said, if it were not for the fact that this world is a world of injustice, there would be no need for the prophets to tell us of a righteous judge that would come to judge a world that has deprived our people of justice. Remember that. That's very important to know, to just reflect on and to think on. Because we all, you know, we come up in the church. Some of us are now in the mosque. We're Jehovah's Witnesses, we're Catholics. So we can't deny the books that we read from. And the books tell us about prophets bringing a message to an unjust world. So to clap over justice in one incident, man, it shows that we're a bit off key. But I'm happy to say to those of us who want to do better, who want to be better, who desire better, that Allah, that God did not leave us without guidance in this dark hour. That He did not leave us unequipped to stand as the enemies of the righteousness are falling. That He didn't leave us with light to walk through this dark moment, the dark tunnel that we find ourselves in. And in the same way that God sent Moses to his people, in the same way that God sent Abraham to his people, as the same way that God sent Jesus to his people, I ask, and I want you to ask, why wouldn't that same God send one to you and I? I mean, you read about it. You taught about it in the church. Why would that righteous God stop sending prophets 2,000 years ago? Why would He stop sending messengers 2,000, 4,000 years ago? If our condition as human beings are worse than any people who walk the earth, then why wouldn't God, why wouldn't Allah send one to us? That's a reasonable question. Moses didn't have to deal with crack houses. Abraham didn't have to deal with trap houses. Jesus didn't have to deal with the internet that puts pornography and all types of foolishness all over the planet. We're living in a worse time. So why wouldn't that same God send one to you and I? I say that He has in the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, who is today represented by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. These two men have acted as a light for our people as we've been walking in utter darkness. And this is not in any way to exclude other lights that Allah God has given us as a people. No, we can't exclude the other lights. in Marcus Garvey was a light. In Noble Drew Ali was a light. In Harriet Tubman was a light. In Booker T. Washington was a light. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a light. Our sister Rosa Parks brought light, and so did the Black Panther Party. Malcolm X brought light. So Allah, God, has not left us without light. However, we are at a point, black man, we are at a point, black woman, that we must utilize the light. We have to bathe in the light, as it will allow us to get through these dark times. Allow us, you and I, to advance as America falls. We don't want you to go down because America is going down. We don't want you to fall because America is falling. We have a light that can lift us up, but we got to grab that light. It's like going to church, and you can liken it to taking a bath. Now, if you go to the bathtub every day and just look at the water, it ain't going to get you clean. But it comes a point, if you want to be clean, you got to go to the water, not just look at it, but you got to get in the water and bathe in it and clean yourself in the water. And that's how the body is clean. Well, the same thing applies to your services, your religious belief, your belief in God, in Allah. You can't just talk it. We can't, no longer just be talkers of this thing, man. We've been talking for too long and not doing enough. So all we do, clap and applaud, standing on the sidelines while we're watching other people in the game. But I'm asking you, who is listening today, I'm asking you to decide, man, I want to get in this. I want to bathe. I want to cleanse myself. I want to get in the game. I want to make a change, not just in myself, but self-improvement is the basis of community development. That's the process. And this process begins, according to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, by having a complete knowledge of self, knowing who you are and whose you are, understanding who you are, then acting in accordance with that knowledge. And who are you? You are the original man. You are the original woman of the planet Earth. You are the ones created in the image and likeness of God. See, we've been taught all our lives that we were insignificant, that we were nothing, that we were some type of curse. You go to Egypt and you see the pyramids and the noses are shot off because our enemy doesn't want us to know who we are. Don't want us to see our greatness, because if you can see your greatness, you can emulate your greatness. If you know your standards, you can line up with the standard. If you know how big you truly are, you won't allow anybody to shrink you down into nothing. You are the original man. You are the original woman, created in the image and likeness of God, the first in the light of the sun. My God, that says a lot. 4 million years, 8 million years, 20 million years. You don't have a birth record. You've been here since the very beginning. However, in this world, which is led today by your enemy, you're called a nigger. You're called a coon. You've been degraded. Sisters called female dogs. And then we take on the mindset, and then we start doing it to one another. We as black people are portrayed in this world in a low manner, and it's transformed and affected the way we act. So we're not just portrayed in a low manner, but we begin to start acting out in a low manner. So we are killing one another. We are abusing one another. We are hurting one another. We are disrespecting one another. Our enemy has raised us, right? Our enemy has taught us. We go to his schools, right? We go to a church where his teaching is taught. You look at the TV, you look at the radio. It's our enemy coming through the airwaves, which has made us become an enemy to ourselves. If you taught by your enemy, you can only become an enemy to yourself. So with his mind in us, we become like the Frankenstein monster. I know some of you may be too young, but some of you remember the movie Frankenstein. It was about a wicked scientist who took the brain of a man out and put another brain in him. And it caused him to be a monster. And he started terrorizing the little village that they lived in, where you terrorizing your neighborhood and don't know why. We're terrorizing Detroit and Highland Park and don't know why. It's because Frankenstein has put his brain in us. Your white enemy has put his brain in you. So whatever you do, you're doing it against self. You don't even realize when you eat McDonald's, you're working against yourself. When you eat a pork chop sandwich, you're working against yourself. When you go to White Casket, you're working against yourself. McDevils. All of these foods are destroying your body, destroying my body. We don't even realize we're working against ourselves in almost everything that we do, and we're working against ourselves because our enemy's mind is in us, man. Our original brain has been washed for another to be placed in us. And this is why I'm asking us to study the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and listen to the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because the guidance they give is reacquainting us with our original selves. It's acquainting us with our original self, where we started out at, in the image and likeness of God. So in reacquainting us with self, they're actually reacquainting us with God, with Allah. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Don't you want to be reacquainted with God, who created you? I know you go to church, and that's the goal in the church. Jesus said, me and my Father are one. And if you're a Christian, that means you are a follower of Jesus the Christ. So you should want to be one with the Father also. But in order to get there, man, you got to be reacquainted with who you really are. Because knowing who you are, then you know your position, you know your role, you know your duty, you know your function. So Chauvin, he's not the only one guilty, although he was found guilty yesterday, and he was very guilty of not second-degree murder, but that was first-degree murder. And he should be given natural life without parole. But I'm not worried about that, because Allah has already found America wanting, and America will have natural life with no way of parole. This world is guilty, and we become co-conspirators when we know the truth and we fail to act on the truth. We become co-conspirators when the light is given to us and we go back to sleep. You know how you wake up in the morning and your alarm clock goes off and it wakes you up, but then you hit it and then you turn back over and put the blanket over your head? See, that's not how any of us should approach the world. As many deaths as we've seen over the last year due to COVID-19, and not just COVID-19, but our brothers and sisters killing one another in the street, as much death as we've seen, you should be thankful for the life that you have. You should be thankful that your eyes wake up, open in the morning and you're awoke, and you should jump up out of the bed But instead, you hit the alarm clock, put the blanket back over your head, and curl back up. What type of man, what type of woman doesn't want life, doesn't enjoy life, isn't appreciative of life, don't want to bathe in the blessing of life? Don't wait till somebody's funeral and cry about death if you're not taking advantage of the life that you have currently in your possession. So much to say in such little time. But if we don't act on what we know, brothers and sisters, we become co-conspirators in our own destruction. So I'm saying and I'm asking each of us, let's get up and do better. I'm asking each of us, let us strive to love our brothers and sisters as we love ourselves. And loving self is a process we got to get involved in right now. You got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love myself. You got to thank your hands for producing what it produces for you. You have to look at your eyelashes and understand that they keep bacteria out your eyes. You have to look at how your teeth is placed, how they break down your food so that your body can be nourished properly. Everything about you is special. But you have to know yourself and understand yourself so that you begin to look at yourself as special. So I'm saying to each of us, let's strive to love our brothers and sisters as we love ourselves. I'm saying to each of us, let us find ways to unite with one another in right. I'm saying to each of us, let us strive to make our communities decent and safe places to stay. I'm saying to each of us, let's not just preach God, talk God, sing God, but let's be God. Meaning that we begin to demonstrate his attributes and his characteristics when it comes to one another. This world that we live in, no matter what you may think and what you may love about it, this world that we live in is Satan's world. It's a system ran by white supremacy. And it's a system that's falling right before our eyes. But we, you and I, have a guidance from the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad as taught by Minister Louis Farrakhan that could help us in avoiding the fall. That will help us, you and I, stand up as this devil worlds go down. And our stand isn't based upon you changing your religion. It's not based upon you paying some fee for information. Our stand begins with you and me showing love for ourselves, understanding as Minister Farrakhan has taught us that self-improvement is the base for community development. As America falls, a new heaven and a new earth can manifest through you. But to do this, each of us must put away the old man and grab hold to the new man. You got to put away the old woman and grab hold to the new woman. I thank you for allowing me to share with you a few words from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the honorable Louis Farrakhan, and I pray, and I continue to pray, that you have a wonderful, blessed, and productive day. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you.